I'm so sick and tired of these people now. Whenever we Scandinavians try to do something cool involving our Viking ancestry, you will have these little trolls, these little goblins saying that no, you can't do that, that's neo-Nazi, that's fascist. In this video here I want to talk about the Norwegian men's football team. They are competing in the World Championships in the USA. They chose to, go full Viking with some photos and also the design of the uniform, or the shirt that they will be using. And I think it's very cool. We are Norwegians and we have a Viking ancestry. So I have a couple of examples here. So one, Jane Skjoldi, I think she's Norwegian. She says, and she's I think a professor in religion history of religion or something like that. Hypermasculine, that's what she says. It's hypermasculine, which is apparently a bad thing. And it's typical for neo-Nazi and fascist symbolism. Okay. And there's a guy called Markus Slettholm. This is chauvinism. It's tacky and it's excluding, and it reminds him of neo-Nazism. And this is basically what these people are saying. And it's this is a foul stench from the past, because I can remember when I was younger, the Vikings, it was quite normal for people. Excuse me, the water is boiling. We will have a cup of some toddy, non-alcoholic toddy. Yeah, when I was younger, you would have people who would claim that anything Viking, that's Nazi, which is ridiculous because it's part of our history. The Vikings were no more, they were not worse than other people during that time, and we could discuss that all day long, I guess, but I think that we as Scandinavians, we should take pride in our Viking ancestry. And also, many people in the USA, Canada, Australia, I have relatives in Australia, the UK, Ireland, Scotland, you also, many of you have Viking ancestry. So we share that cultural and background, and it's in our DNA. We must take back that identity, and that's what the football team is doing now, which I think is wonderful. Now, I'm a nerd. I'm a historical novelist, and I would say, the Vikings, they did not dress like that, and these are fantasy Vikings. If you look at the photos, those are fantasy Vikings. But that's a minor detail, and I'm okay with that. The point is, the Norwegian male football team, they are taking back our Viking ancestry, and they're presenting it to the world as a force, as a positive force. This is our identity, and I think if you have to criticize that, you're just a little troll on the internet. You're just a little goblin. Not like the goblins in these woods, they are usually nice, but as I've said before, if you don't subscribe to my videos, what they do is they throw pine cones at me, which it, ow, okay, yeah, that's what they do. Now it needs to be said that this is very popular in Norway, what they're doing, you know. People love this, and they love the photos and all of that. And I saw that they started doing the row in the audience, you know, the Norwegian audience, they do the row in the, and all of that. So it's very popular. But when you have this criticism surfacing like instantly, as I said, this stench from the past, where you couldn't do anything Viking or say anything positive about the Vikings, the Viking age, our Viking heritage. And if you wanted to do something like make a movie or TV series, you have to mock them. You have to mock our Viking ancestry. This is part of a bigger discussion about European ancestry and taking pride in European ancestry. Nobody would have... Let's see if I can find an example here. I believe that one of the teams, they are using the Aztec like symbolism on their team, national team shirt. Nobody says anything negative about that, and they shouldn't, because that's part of their heritage. I suppose that would be Mexico. If we don't use our Viking ancestry, if we don't use our Viking ancestry, you know who's going to use it? Who's going to own it? Yeah, those neo-Nazis. And we should not allow that. We should not allow our ancestry and our culture be stolen by people who do not understand it. I've said before that if you have a racist attitude, using Viking mythology to strengthen your identity is very stupid, because if you look into it, the gods, they interbred with the Jotuns, you know, Thor, the god of thunder. He's not pure race, if you want to use that term, because his mother was a Jotun. So we could talk about that all day long, but I think that if you have a need to criticize what the football team is doing here, you should probably think twice, because it's stupid. And if you think it's tacky, okay, that's on you, I guess. And I you know, okay, they could have done better with the clothes. That those clothes are not really Viking clothes. They're fantasy Viking clothes, you could say. But the point is, they're pointing at their Viking ancestry as part of the Norwegian identity. We also, here in Norway, here in Scandinavia, we need something to be proud about, you know, and we should be. And I did also see a little goblin on TikTok. I won't even mention his name because it's just too stupid, the whole thing. But he's apparently has a large following there. But he said that, you know, he criticized this because they were portraying the Vikings as hyper-masculine, and that apparently was not correct. I would say this, to a modern person, if we had a time machine and we traveled back to the Viking age, you would probably find Viking men to be what you would call hyper-masculine. They lived in a very different kind of society, and they kind of had to be what we would call hyper-masculine. That's a big discussion, I guess, but saying that the Vikings were not, well, criticizing people portraying the Vikings as very masculine, it's very stupid. And by the way, if you want to connect with other people interested in the Viking age, not only the Viking Age, but our European history, pre-Christian European history, the mythologies and all of that, that we share as Europeans. Go to folkrealms.com, the sponsor of this video. I'm there. It's a wonderful platform. No AI, no bullying, nobody trying to use our, our ancestry, our European ancestry for political purposes. So folkrealms.com, go there and join me there. It's a wonderful place, the best place on the internet. I guess it's easy to see this as part of what I would call the designed identity crisis of Europe, where we are not supposed to take pride in our ancestry or our culture. And what I think is that leads to hate. That leads to hate directed to towards immigrants. Now we do have, of course, a problem with far too much immigration into Europe. I think everyone understands that. Well, deep down everyone understands that, I hope. But hatred has no place, and when we are not allowed to take pride in our background, our culture, our ancestry, what happens is that extremism, it's like extremism grows and hate grows. So it's not a good thing, yeah, but please share your thoughts in the comment section here. I would love to hear what you are thinking about this whole matter. Now, in the settings, I made it so that only people subscribing to this channel can comment. I find that makes the whole discussion more civilized and friendly, which we want here. Yeah, so please consider subscribing to the channel. If you have already subscribed to the channel, please go and check if YouTube hasn't unsubscribed you. You know how this works on this platform. But anyway, that's all for now. I'll be back with another video in a few days. So yeah, until then, have a wonderful day. It's summer. Skål!